all see my feather? I'd like to say this is a feather I found on a walk or in my garden, but I'm afraid to say when I had a look I couldn't find one. This is a feather that was in one of my children's craft boxes. Apparently it's from a turkey. But nevertheless, I'd like you just to take a moment to have a look at it. Imagine that it's not pink, but imagine that it's a natural feather that you've found on a walk. Take a moment to look at the different elements of it. Can you see how the tiny feathers split? Can you see the intricacies of the shape and the pattern? If you've ever touched a feather, you'll know that they're really soft. I'm sure you can go back to a moment in time where you've touched feathers and you know how soft, especially these little wispy ones, really are. Now look at its form. If my hand was perfectly still, there will be no movement whatsoever. And yet, when I blow it, it moves. I've been asked for Thy Kingdom Come to talk about Pentecost, a moment in history where we celebrate the gift that God gave us, where the Holy Spirit was sent to the world. In some ways, we're a bit like this feather. Psalm 139 in the Old Testament of the Bible tells us that we're wonderfully, beautifully, and intrinsically made by God. And yet, without the power of the Holy Spirit, we remain, in a sense, lifeless. Yes, we can live and breathe and move, but it is in the power of the Holy Spirit for Christians that is life-giving, that gives us life in all its fullness and richness and colour. A feather on its own can't do much. Maybe the wind can move it a little bit over the garden, or a bird can pick it up for its nest. But when the wing is attached to a bird, it can travel literally thousands of miles. So Pentecost, the moment in history where we celebrate the gift of the Holy Spirit. What does that even mean? What does that even look like? This is how in the Bible, in the book of Acts, written by Luke, this is how it's described. When the Feast of Pentecost came, which was actually a Jewish festival equivalent of Harvest Festival in biblical times, they were all together in one place. Without warning, there was a sound like a strong wind, gale force. No one could tell where it was coming from. It filled the whole building. Then, like a wildfire, the Holy Spirit spread through their ranks, and they started speaking in a number of different languages as the Spirit prompted them. Reading that aloud, it seems pretty daunting, doesn't it? Who would want to experience a wildfire of everybody speaking in different languages all of a sudden? A powerful, yes, but scary experience, it makes me think. And yet, the point isn't the scariness, the point is this. The Holy Spirit came to each of them in individual ways, as individual people. The Holy Spirit is a gift for us all. It's a gift given personally, distinctly to each one. Not to intimidate, not to bring fear, but in love, so that we may live more fruitfully, enriched lives. If I'm to talk about my personal experience of the Holy Spirit, it's much quieter than that one described in the Bible. There's a hymn that we like to sing, Dear Lord and Father of mankind. And in that, the Holy Spirit is described as a still, small voice of calm. In my experience, that's what I think it's like. It's that niggling within me that says you really should speak to that person. Offer some hospitality perhaps, or reconnect with someone that I haven't spoken to in a while. It's that voice that pricks my conscience when I need to apologise for something. For me, the Holy Spirit gives me confidence to stand up for justice and speak out for the vulnerable I'm naturally a yes person and somebody who avoids confrontation. And yet it's given me a heart for social justice. Even to work for the church, to look forward to ministry. It's only possible because I felt the Holy Spirit really was asking me to do it. As I say, the Holy Spirit means different things for each of us. I wonder what the Holy Spirit could mean for you. Could it mean to stand up for something you know you need to speak out? Could it mean being moved in a different direction to the course in life which you're currently following? Could it mean to let go of some worries and reservations and instead choose to follow Christ, either for the first time or renewed, or just go where he's asking you to go? As Christians, we're asked to live differently. What is the Holy Spirit asking of you today? And so as you reflect on these questions, next time you go outside, if you're able, I invite you to pick up a feather, take a moment to examine it, rest with it, and ask the Holy Spirit, ask that still small voice of calm within you, Lord, what are you asking from me today?